Howdy, howdy, howdy. Okay, so this may not be the only thing I'm doing right now. I've got maybe an hour-ish to get some work done here, so I'm going to try to see if I can get a couple little tweaks in. You might notice from the last time I did this, some minor changes to the application. These are not significant, but I just kind of been running it a lot this weekend, and I wanted it to look a little nicer, so I decided to clean up the image, and then I wanted to play with the positioning of my football a little. You can see I added a little bit of background, so it's no longer the white background. So you can see kind of a stadium. I know it's blurry in the back, but for the purposes of what I'm doing, that's fine. The focus is the field anyway. And maybe if I could find a higher resolution side view of a stadium, it would be so bad. Problem is, my resolution of my stadium is like, was it 680 by 700? It's hard to find one facing the angle I need, so that's been causing me a little bit of problems. And it took a little tweaking to get my football field on it, because the one that was on it was obviously got the same rate of resolution. So you can see there's a small issues with the football. So football moves like this. It's like it moves with the height of the screen, which can be a bit much. And I kind of want this is as small as the screen goes, which is not too bad, I suppose. But ultimately, I would like I need to do some other work to kind of pretty this up. And my debate in my head, of course, is should I be doing this? Ultimately, yes, because I still want to have a web variation of this. This is going to be my my streaming toy that's going to be running, and I do want the UI of the streaming part to work. So that's the React portion of this. I'm going to be simplifying a lot of the icons you see at the top. I want to really make it minimized, so when it's showing on my stream or any stream, if I decide to share it with anybody who wants something like this to run, once I get all the other bits. This is obviously nowhere near what I want to call shareable, sellable, whatever, widespreadable. It is, however, kind of coming together. It's coming together pretty nice, I think. So yeah, I'll be doing some things to kind of simplify, clean up, and just make it look a little better over time, hopefully, as I get more and more creative with that. Like I said, I'm not a graphics guy, so my manipulation of graphics is gonna look a little, it's not gonna be graphic design artist level stuff. So bear with me on that, please, because I don't foresee that changing anytime soon. Besides, I would rather be doing the actual work to get the actual functionality in there, and then at some point I will worry about the rest later. Now, I have been trying to figure out how to get a good grasp of how to lock this football of mine in place. And it has been challenging. Locking it in place in relation to the size of the image. Okay, so the image grows and shrinks, as you see, but the football kind of moves around on the field. And it's not really what I want to see it doing. I thought I kind of had it working before, but when I added this border on it, it stopped. It's not. I noticed that this does. And maybe it's just because I never really tried to make it vertically hold, but I don't like this. I don't want the football moving around like that. So I kind of want it to move in relation to the size of the background. So it does kind of sort of stay a little bit in place. It's not terrible, but it floats too much. Probably because the proportion of the resizing is not in relation to the size of the image. So you see it moves all the way to the top. Now I could move it down on purpose by making the screen bigger. I don't want to do that. That seems like a weird thing. So ultimately, I would like to get this more svelte. Maybe I might even push this down to the point where it's on top of the image and have the board up. But then I'd have to figure out where to put the text, and I haven't figured that out yet. So maybe text will go on the bottom and then I can put this, or maybe I'll put the text on the top under football sim. I kind of like the idea of this thing being on the field, like right on the top here, just sitting over everything. And then have football sim be on top, and then the text, I don't know where the text is going to go. The text is important. It's actually the describer of the play, so somehow I need to get that worked in here. So I haven't, right now where it is kind of works. I'm not sure that being above this is all that great either. I could put it at the bottom of the field, but then I have to put some kind of a border so it's easy to read, because obviously white on green and white is not going to work. So yeah, I don't know that I've got this fully solved yet. So there's a something here, but I haven't figured it out. Because for one, if I try to, it's resize this, right? So I take this all the way out to full size. The text being down here at the bottom is just going to look out of place. At the top, it's kind of, I should probably even resize the text so it's bigger when the screen's bigger. Right now, it's just big. It looks small here, but it looks big here, even though it's the same size text. So there's some minor stuff. So I'm going to try to see if I can do this football positioning thing. I did kind of ask my buddy. This time I went with GPT. I was asking Copilot, but it was a little verbose. Or what do you call it? It just wasn't very clean on what it was doing. So I'm going to try this plan, which is to say all it's doing is it's supposed to be calculating the total height of my image, and then I can adjust where the football is going to be in position to that image. So, because it's going to be relative to the position of the image. So I'll have to play with that a little bit and see where it takes me. The only problem is that means I generally will have to change the code, recompile it. So we'll see. I'm not a fan of that way. The other way is to maybe read from a header and then keep calling this with a different number and having it put the football in a different place based on the number I put after it, which is really lame, but it would allow me to change it in real time, because it's kind of hard to change it here, because you can't really change code and expect it to function. The hot reload stuff is kind of iffy here. It's not the most reliable. So yeah, as I continue to work on the details of my functionality here. That's the other thing I want to do, is cut out the background off of my little football image down here too. So, but that's not part of the game. So let's just see if I can get this. All right, so really all it is adding this piece to my image instead of the current setup, which is top 35. So everything else is pretty much going to stay the same. I've been kind of playing with this this class name thing. I haven't quite got, I don't know exactly, I haven't noticed the difference in what that's doing. This is, I think, a 1 second thing. I'm not sure how that, I wonder if there's a place where you can see an example of the differences, because I'm not seeing it. Where are we at? We're in the okay, game ended. Let's go ahead and look at a new one. What did I do? I broke it. How could I change the code? I don't know. Let's go ahead and close this, and we'll reload that mess. I closed too much stuff. What is this thing? System home. All right, so let's go build it. Build it, then it will come, assuming it doesn't crash. So there's been a number of changes so far. I am planning, I've been a number of changes on how I designed this along the way. You may have seen the original version. I should probably show it to you again, just so that we have a before and after of what amounts to about, I think this would be As far as streaming goes, this might be like day 22, 23. I don't think I can. I don't think I put. I've got probably. I think I'm day 23. No, it's probably not even that much. It's probably day 22. Now, of course, I got to keep remembering to change this text. I don't change my descriptions nearly as often as I should. Probably should do it every time. But all right, let's see what this does. It compiled, so that's a good thing. Now we're going to find out if my little change actually makes any change. It was mentioned I should use a console.log. I forgot to do that. So, did I not start it? Oh, maybe I can still do that. I thought I hit start, but maybe not. Let's go. Just want to see console.log. No, console.log. Container height. Container height. I'm really looking forward to getting back to Go. Just because I'm excited to get all of these APIs or microservices running, so that I can start calling it in Go and starting to write some of the function and pull some of this stuff in. My brain's been running, a mile a minute in the middle of the night, frequently, figuring out how I want to implement the player and player interactions so that they can start working. But I need a database, so I need to get the APIs that they could build the database that build with my API, and then I can start adding stuff via those migration files or migrations, so I can build my database through Go, so that I can manipulate it, edit it on live. I won't be able to run the migrations constantly, but maybe at times when I'm expanding or creating, or because you're writing scripts, so obviously you can't drop and create the table all the time. Obviously, that would lose data. So I'm going to have to get that going. Plus, I need to figure out how I want to start doing my test environment. I'm going to need a dev environment that has a database, which will probably be my local machine. And then I have the live production environment that's going to have the live data. But there's just a lot of kind of middle workings. Plus, I'm doing all these microservices, and I want to be able to make this available at some point. So I'm like, what do I use for deploying microservices? Azure, Amazon Web Services. I know nothing. I know nothing about AWS. I'm familiar with Azure. I've done a lot of the classes, and I think I can I grasp where and when and how to do that. I know nothing about AWS. I couldn't even tell you. I could probably look up where I go to log it, to set it up, but I don't know, man. I don't know that it's even feasible. Let's see. What is cheaper? Oh, I know. Is this the one to ask? Do I want to ask Copilot? Yeah, all right. What is cheaper for microservices development? Microservices applications development phase and for a small business, small business, yeah, very small. We'll say, what is it? AWS or Azure. Copilot's like, I don't know. It's like, good luck. I'm a Microsoft product. I'm certainly not going to tell you AWS is cheaper. Let's see what it says. AWS uses a pay-as-you-go model. Okay, so they both do that, which means you only pay for what you use. This can be beneficial for small business as it allows for flexibility and scalability without long-term commitments. Free tier. AWS offers a free tier that includes 750 hours per month of Amazon EC2 with T2 or T3 micro instance and 5 gigabytes of object storage via Amazon S3. This can be a great way to get started without any upfront costs. 750 hours per month. That's pretty good. Pretty sure Azure does not. Pricing model. Azure also uses pay-as-you-go. However, Azure offers a $200 credit for new users. Yeah, well, 30 days. I burned that up 6 months ago, which can help initial costs. Free tier. Azure provides free access to 54 cloud products and services, including compute, storage, and database services. This can be beneficial for small business looking to minimize costs during the development phase. If your business already uses Microsoft products, Azure might offer cost advantages due to seamless integration with existing Microsoft tools and services. See, that's tough. They both offer a free tier, 750 hours on Amazon, but I have no idea what EC2 is with a T2 or T3 micro instance. I have no idea. I assume that's tier 2, tier 3. I don't know what those are. I mean, I don't know what they include, what they entail. I do know Azure, but the thing is, when it says free access to 54 cloud products, they do have a lot of little miscellaneous products, but so a lot of their free stuff is like 1 year and then you're paying. And so it's not really a free tier, it's more like a free period. And some of it is not. Some of it's always free as long as you stay under a certain limit. But I'm not sure what that is. And when it says storage, I don't know what storage is talking about. Database services? No, there's no free database services. I haven't found them. I was using one. I had was it a Cosmos database? I don't even remember what it was. But it was some database I was doing during the testing phase, and I got charged, but only $1 or something like that. It wasn't much, but I was only used it for like a day and a couple of hours, so it wasn't. It might have been less than $1, but it was still. I think my total charges that month were like almost $2 for all the stuff I was using, and that was just the training classes. It's like I'm trying to just learn this stuff, and they're charging me. So yeah, after that first month, it's not free. So that's not useful. I need something that I can deploy my app to while I'm trying to design it and still have it out there so it could be a little bit tested, be able to share it with people and let them see how it's working, give people access. But I need to have all my stuff up. So yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how does either offer Mongo. I think Azure does DB as part of their free offerings. Because I'm using Mongo. I decided Mongo is going to be my base database. I don't know. I know SQL well. I should do SQL. Azure provides a free tier for MongoDB with 32 gigabytes of storage. This free tier is available for a lifetime of your account and allows you to develop, test, and even run small production workloads for free. MongoDB Atlas on AWS. AWS offers MongoDB Atlas, a perpetual free tier. You can start with free tier that includes 512 RAM and 5 gigabytes of storage. This is great for getting started with any upfront costs. Yeah, they do offer something. 32 gigabytes of storage. 32 gigabytes of storage is plenty of storage. Plenty. Well, for development. I mean, if I ever got this going and I had 100 gajillion, say I had 100,000 downloads, which, would be a mediocrely well received product, right? If it does that good, I'd probably need more than 32 gigs because I'm going to be storing a ton of data. because I'm going to be storing all the details of so many different things. I just want to have it. I feel like all the data should be there. Basically, I should be able to pull and offer up any stat that people want. I mean, at some point, obviously, I can't do them all. It's going to take a long time to build up all those different stats. But player stats, team stats, records, all that stuff. I want it all there. I mean, that's what this is going to have. But it's going to be mostly the stuff you create, not all the stats and stuff of their history and what the players really did, excuse me, in their time in the league. But it's going to be the stats that you create. You know, your team, how successful they've been, you know. What is this guy's career stats before he retires? You know, that kind of stuff. Maybe at some point offer up a Hall of Fame. You can have your own Hall of Fame. Your league gets its own Hall of Fame. After you've played like 5 seasons or something, you can start having a Hall of Fame. And you can set the bar for what it takes for players to make it to this Hall of Fame. So you could probably do it pretty easily because the primary rating for all these guys is their salary. So anybody who had a salary above X could be ones that made it to the Hall of Fame. Or maybe an average career salary, because, you know, you might not. One good season does not make a Hall of Fame career, usually. Usually. It might push a mediocre career into the Hall of Fame, but it isn't going to make it isn't going to be the only thing that carries you into the Hall of Fame, right? So if you were a lot of guys need to really get there. I think more often than not, you need to have a great career, less a Super Bowl, more than you can have one great year that got you and won you a Super Bowl. Although some guys, I think, have made it to the Super Bowl or made it to the Hall of Fame purely on their Super Bowl success, which I think giving one guy credit for the Super Bowl wins is dumb. I'm sorry, Tom Brady is a good quarterback. He was even a great quarterback. But I'm sorry, all you Tom Brady fans, he was not the best quarterback. Drew Brees was quite possibly the best quarterback. Dan Marino, right up there with him. I mean, Drew Brees just was amazing. I just don't think people gave him credit because he didn't get the Super Bowls. But dang, that guy had the stats. He had it all. I mean, he didn't get Super Bowls, but you can't blame him for crappy defenses. He had a lot of bad defenses. It's not like he can play on the defense. Probably wouldn't have been very good on defense either anyway, but I'm just saying, they gave up a lot of points, the Saints teams, whilst he was hitting the stats. I mean, if you look at, I think, what was it? Average yards or something. The top 10, he's got like 8 of them. 8 or 7. 7 or 8 of the top 10 statistical seasons. That's just crazy. And yeah, the other guys might have been Brady and Manning. I don't know who else would have been in that bunch, but there's been some guys who had good years, but just the consistency is just amazing. You know, I mean, even if you only had 5, that's half of the 10, and then the other 5 are split between other players, not one other guy. Now, yeah, Brady had a lot of good Super Bowl wins, but he also had a lot of teams that he was, you know, he was a very good commander. Maybe he was a great quarterback for that, but statistically, wasn't the best quarterback. Sorry, you Brady fans. All right, so back on task. All right, so yeah, I was cleaning that up. I'm trying to decide where my where did it go? Did I not start it? Oh, maybe I did start it. I talked myself right out. Let's do this again, just in case I didn't do it. I got to do the build because it doesn't always take if I don't build, and then we'll run it and see if anything happens. for anyone following this and really wants to help me get this football game going, I'm just letting you know now. Shortly, I will be posting or putting up a link to an Indiegogo campaign. Yes, people are saying, I don't know, nobody has said anything to me, negatively or positively, but ultimately, I know a lot of these indie games don't take off. They don't do well. They even after launch. And so ultimately, if you do decide to back me, which I hope you will, but at the same time, I'm not. If you don't, you can't. Whatever. I'm not worried about that. Just come and say hi and help and watch me progress. That's fine enough. But if you do decide to back me, I do ask that. Do what you're comfortable with, and I'm gonna do multiples of them. I'm thinking if it might even be the same one with minor updates and stuff each time. I'm gonna try to have goals for each month. I'm gonna do one a month. I'm just gonna launch it at the end of each month, 30 days after the last one ended, and then I'm just gonna keep doing that until I have to stop working on this. Which could happen if I get a full-time job. I don't think it's going to happen otherwise. I don't foresee me stopping the work on this. This is going to keep going, and I'm thinking it's going to keep getting better. And there's going to be a lot of times when I don't make any progress for a week or 2 or 3. Not because I'm not working on it, but because, dang it, I got an eyelash or something falling out of my eye. But because I just can't make progress. I'm learning how to do something, and I've hit walls before. You hit walls sometimes, and you're just like, I can't figure this out. And you take a week or 2 or 3, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's fixed. Like I had the darndest problem trying to get these use effects to all display, get everything updating and showing and not duplicating and all that. All that took forever. I felt like it was supposed to be fast. It even made me rewrite my whole app almost in the way it was laid out. That part was good. I think ultimately it made it better. But still, it took a long time to get these the use effects firing the way they should. It's almost like it was a balancing act to get things to fire. Anyway, so we will see how that goes. And like I said, I'm going to keep doing UI things just because UI things kind of just gives it a sense of progress. It looks different now. Ooh, more and more and more, So 12.1, my prototype is complete. Now I say the real fun begins. Well, the real back end stuff. Let's see where we at. My football. It's way up there. Well, it's still on the field. And what's happening here? It is still moving back and forth. But it's not adjusting. It's supposed to be adjusting in some way, shape, or form relationally to my movement, which it is not. It's not doing anything. See, I want my football to move up and down with the size of the screen. But what I am noticing is it's staying in place. That's what I want. But if the screen keeps getting bigger, it's not moving at all. See, it's not moving at all. It's staying exactly where it is, which is going to make it very hard to get it into the right place. So, whatever that strategy was, it's not working. Did I miss a piece? So, I kind of see top position every time it changes is supposed to be firing. Now we got container, set top position. Now I did put in here a log, so let's go look at my output. I'm not seeing anything with that log. Console.log. Is this even happening? It's supposed to be firing when I resize, which it is not. It's not doing squat. Huh. Well, that's not going to fire anything if it doesn't do anything. If container ref current. So is there like a piece I missed? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no, I have container ref. I have use state. I have that and that. That's it. That's all there is. Yeah, use effect. That use effect ain't firing. when I resize the window, the use effect is not firing. I don't see what else it could be. Is there another? Oh, there is a container ref. Oh, my div. Oh, I may have to. Maybe I need to. Let's put that in. Before I complain that it's not working, let's put all the parts on the page. Okay, so I did miss a piece here. I have to put this in my div that's holding the image. So we'll go this guy. Copy. And I'll just stick it right there, I suppose. Did it work? Some of those, usually changing code doesn't do anything, but yeah. No está bien. That does not fire. All right, so all right, so we have to stop it. Try and build it back, build it in there. I will be putting up, I hope in the next day or two, the link to the preview page for my Indiegogo, which I hope to fire off next weekend. It's just going to be short. It's going to be quick. I'm not even asking for much just because I don't have much of a following. So it's like, got to keep it real, you know? Keep it real, man. It's one of those, ask the bare minimum, and the bare minimum is 0, really. I mean, I'm just whatever I can, I'll help. But we'll see. See, what's going on here? What happened? What happened? That's the same thing that happened once before. What's going on? Let's close this again. Oh, module not found. What is that? Compile error. Get repo file. Is that an error? Nope, it's not, but I don't know what that is. All right, so let's try this one more time. I wish that I could get the hot reload to be a little bit better, but I'm not going to be in Visual Studio much, or in the next. Maybe when I'm tweaking this, but overall I'm using VS Code for my Go development, which I'll be doing a lot this week. I have to get back to door dashing this week. Sucks. I got to do something. My goal is $150 a week. It's terrible. I know. It's just so terrible. If I could get the Indiegogo campaign to make at least as much as $150 a week, what is that? So that would be a month worth. So for $600, that's so bad. That's so bad. I mean, it's obviously not enough to develop an app. I mean, anybody who thinks they can help develop an app for $600 is crazy. I mean, look, I mean, all these companies are spending years and years with who knows, what Baldur's Gate had, like 3 companies working on theirs, and probably 100 developers to get Baldur's Gate 3 going. That is a very significant amount of people. I don't see anything happening. Did it break? Oh, it did break. Oh, all right. Well, let's see what happens when I do this. The football moved. That's good, right? Well, football's not really moving. I mean, it kind of moving. When I go smaller, it gets... Oh, it's staying the same distance from the top. Right? So hard in perspective. Perspective, it doesn't move with the height, which is good. But it is... Man, perspective is so hard. What do we got here? So we're about there. Okay, so then if I make this bigger, yeah, I think it's the same. It's pretty close to the same. It may have dropped a tiny bit, but overall, it's pretty much the same. It seems like maybe it moved a tiny fraction of an inch. I mean, the football's definitely bigger because the football's resizing itself too. I mean, that's why it looks like it's moving. But yeah, so and I can be even off the screen because it's so that's the tiniest, which is about the same. So yeah, it's I think it's just changing because of the size of the football. But overall, we are pretty much locked. It's not affected by the height, which is good. Only the image in the background. So at least it locks in at the height. I have not quite figured out the dynamic change aspect of it though. Because obviously I'm here. So whatever its percentage is of the height of the... It needs to be more dynamic. Okay, so set top position. Container height. Hey, Yash Pandit, how you doing, man? So I need to make this relative to the screen. It's going to be about the same. It should always be the same relation. I'm trying to... You see, I created this... this little football app that's doing a simulation. It's calling plays and running and doing a whole bunch of stuff to run a game. But right now I'm working on a slight graphical element. I got a lot of other stuff I got to do, but right now I'm doing a little bit of graphical thing. And you can see I have a football that moves up and down the field based on the values that are happening in the game. But I need the football to generally be at the same position in this image, no matter what size the image is. See, right now the football's moving. Really, it's not. The football's staying relatively in the same place right now. I was measuring it, and it's pretty much the same place, no matter where I'm at during the movement. So it's not dropping at all. It's just getting bigger and moving in relation to the position. So what I needed to do is always move. So if the image gets bigger, then it needs to drop. But it needs to drop in relation to the image, not to the... right now it's just locked in place, which, is fine for staying in its thing. But so what I need to do is I have a container. I should be... What I am noticing is that even though I have container.log, console.log here, I don't think I'm actually firing this. Yeah, it's not even firing. Because none of my logs actually happened. I can tell all that resizing and nothing happened. So the use effect is not triggering with my my log height. Yeah, well, that's what it is. It's my buddy right here, ChatGPT. ChatGPT, I've tried a lot of them. Actually, Claude, Blackbox AI. I go to all of them at times, but ChatGPT is nice because, well, for one, it doesn't have a limit. It'll tell you you've used up 4.0 enough times, and you have to go to 3.0 for a couple of hours, but let's see what it says. Yeah, but ChatGPT is pretty good. It's got, but I'll tell you, it does not always have the answer. One of the most complicated things I've done in the last couple of weeks was getting it. So like you see here, my updates is updating my score and the date and the time, or not the time and the yards, and putting out these fields. So it's calculating and adding up all these times and determining what quarter we're in and doing all this stuff. But a lot of it happens in a call to a play component, and that play component sends back the values that it has to update so that it can be refreshed on the screen. And boy, getting that to work was a nightmare. I spent a lot of time with all the AIs. They kept rewriting this piece and that piece and saying, okay, do this, do this, do this. Finally, Claude came up with a pretty good idea that I think finally triggered it. I finally got all the bits and parts going. Well, no, I'm sorry. Black Box AI came out with the part that finally got me updating. But then I was having duplicate calls. That took me another week to figure out. And that's when Claude finally came up with an answer. This is after going all of them, giving me different options, trying different things, and me trying to change the wording and the questions and giving them the whole code. And it would rewrite parts and, yep, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. And then Claude goes, well, let's do this then. This is all right, let's try that. And it, surprise, fixed it. So, and you got to be real careful with the AIs. Man, they like to rewrite your code, and they will screw up your code. They will screw up your code if you let them. I use Copilot sometimes first because it's more convenient. Here's my Copilot. I was asking it questions about Azure and AWS because I got to put my app somewhere eventually so I can start sharing it with people so they can start helping me test it and play with it. So I was trying to think, well, who am I going to use that's going to be cheap because I'm poor, have no money to spend. So I was looking at well, tell me who's got a better. Thing is, I know Azure. I'm probably 40% good at Azure, maybe 60% at Azure. I'm like 2%. I know nothing about AWS. I know of AWS. That's about all I can say. I don't even know what it's talking about when it says EC2 and T2. I assume this is T2 and T3, but I don't. Tier 2 and Tier 3, but I don't know. It could be Tactical 2 and Telemetry 3. I don't know. It's something. I don't know what those are. So, and I don't know what an S3 Amazon is. This is all like gobbledygook to me. So I'm probably going to go with Azure and see if I can figure out how to manipulate the free tier so I can get through it as much as I can. But I got to be able to just deploy all my microservices that are going to start running all of the player actions and all of my other functionality so that I can start turning this into a mobile app that's a lot more robust than this little thing. This is just a simple little web demo. But it's also going to be where I do a lot of my testing and basic stuff. So anyway, but yeah, I use all those. I haven't tried Perplexity. I think I've heard of it, but I haven't tried Perplexity. But yeah, Claude loves to rewrite your code. I mean, it will change the variable names. It will change your formatting, and it says, oh, to make things more readable. And it's like, that's not more readable. And by the way, you broke something. That it kept rewriting all of them. They all kept writing this functionality. Where is it at? My let's see, where is it? It's right here. This piece. Okay, so I had this set up as a one line if statement, inline if, and this is actually kind of complicated, and the AIs could not figure it out. And I kept, why are you doing this? You keep screwing this up. So I had to keep watching to make sure it didn't rewrite this. What this is doing, and it's because it doesn't understand what I'm trying to accomplish. But during a play, sometimes a score happens that's for the other team. Like if you get sacked in the end, so you have the ball, but you get sacked in the end zone, that's a safety. That's 2 points for the other team. So every play, when it runs, returns back how many points were scored. And one of the things it says is, the play went for, whatever, safety, -2. So I send it back as a negative. If it's a negative, it goes to the other team. Well, but when it goes to the other team, it has to be an absolute value, because obviously we're going to put it on their score as a positive. So it's not going to go on there as a negative. Well, for some reason, all these AIs kept thinking I wanted the greater of the two values, 0 or -2, which of course always is going to be the 0. So it always said, give me the greater. I said, no, I don't want the greater. I want to turn this -2 into a +2 and put it on the other team's score. But it just did not get it. And all of them kept rewriting that code on me, because it looks complicated. So they try to simplify it into like a simple little one-line thing, and it says, if I could do it in one line, I would have done it in one line. One little simple line. No, but yeah, so just be careful when you're watching it. I always like to see what it's doing, find the exact change. A lot of times it's not changing much, except renaming variables and stuff, and I hate it when it does that. So I'll just find the actual change and plug it in. And sometimes I like the refactoring it does. They do good refactoring sometimes, good ideas on how to compress and clean up the code a little bit. And I'm like, hey, I'm all for that if there's a better way to do that. But just got to be very cautious, very cautious. Don't take them head on, or they'll be making you wonder what the heck happened. Why isn't this working anymore? Oh, that doesn't do what I designed it to. Anyway, back to it. I was trying to figure out, why this wasn't firing. Let's see what it said here. My hook itself does not listen to window resize events. To make it responsive, you need to add an event listener for the resize event. Well, you're the one who told me to do it that way. When the window's resize, here's how you can update your code. Okay, so container, yes, update top position. So there's a function. Sorry. So it's going to change this function, change this use effect into a function. All right. Well, I don't have a problem with that. Then it's going to do this use effect. All right. So update top position. Okie dokie. Add resize listener. Add event listener, update top position, resize. Clean up listener on component unmount. So, but the listener, all right, so I'm trying to figure out, yeah, but it only runs once, so it's turning on the listener, but then where does the listener get active? Because this is no longer a use effect, and this isn't going to trigger on change. So when it changes, I don't see where it's calling back to the use effect. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it. It's going to be a long time. You're going to, if you want, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm actually trying to get this going to a point where I could start having people be able to use it and download it sooner. But I haven't gotten to that point yet. Some people will have access to it at a point. I'll have to. That's probably going to be a Benny of some of my other things that I provide, like Patreon or my Indiegogo campaign or something like that. I'll probably give it to whoever, and they can be part of the help me design it, help me build it. I mean, not like open source, but like testing it and that kind of thing. All right. It's gonna, like I said, games take a long time to develop, and I started this 3 weeks ago. So to enjoy it as it happens, it's gonna be a while. But gotta be So I have a huge list of features and stuff I want to put in this game. And I've already started laying them out in my head, putting down the designs, writing things down, deciding how things are going to happen and develop. But I've also got a lot to learn. This is a lot of learning. I'm doing Go, I'm doing React, I'm doing microservices. I've got to figure out how to get it all deployed onto the various web services and do it without breaking the bank. That's what I'm worried about. It being too expensive to put it up there. Oh yeah, I learned that AIs are the opposite of search engines. With search engines, you want to write concise, very brief inquiries to what you're looking for. Just give it the facts, man, and then you'll get probably something close to what you want. And the more you give it, the more likely you just get a bunch of clutter. With AIs, you want to give it all the deets. You want to give it the code if you can, and then you say, where's the problem? Then you got to tell it what you're programming in. Don't forget to tell it what you're programming in. It may think it knows, but a lot of times it's wrong. Like I'm doing Next.js with React. And sometimes it can identify that it's React, but sometimes it thinks because I'm giving it AI or output things, it doesn't know because the rendering parts might be written for some other language. So you got to tell it all the details. Every little detail, and then it can be pretty good. But if the code is really complex, doing weird things, the AI sometimes doesn't know. So if you can leave out overly complex parts, sometimes that helps because if it's something that doesn't affect the problem. Otherwise, just give it the piece that you want fixed. I've learned to do that too. Like when I'm doing rendering, don't give it the whole sheet. Just give it the section of the render that I'm trying to make work. Because again, the more you give it, the more chance it's going to get distracted by other stuff. So you definitely want to kind of get that balance, just you start learning the idiosyncrasies of AIs and what's good to give them and what's not good and when to be extra verbose and when to be succinct. Just kind of depends, on what you're doing. If there's one thing I've learned with AI and for all of them, all the different AIs, there's a lot of ways to do the same thing because you could ask all three of them the same question and they will all give you a different answer that mostly works. One of them might work better than the others, but they'll all give you a different answer that's functional. The code will run. If there's one thing I will say, it's rare, although it does happen, where it gives you a syntax error. Almost always it writes valid functional code. Sometimes it forgets an import, like it doesn't know that you don't have something imported, so you say there's an error, so you need to import this thing. Sometimes it assumes things that are wrong, but that's minor stuff. But I'm just saying it's rarely a syntactical error, which is nice. It doesn't give you bad code. It just doesn't always do what you want it to. And the thing is with React, I think it's a bigger deal with React because there's a lot of asynchronous functionality going on. So certain things are firing all at the same time, and that's where things can get tricky. So when you try to force synchronous actions out of asynchronous, oh gosh, I lost it. Asynchronicity, async calls, even with await. Trust me, the await asyncs, they are not reliable if the code is running. One of the things I've learned with use effects, if you're running a use effect and it updates something, that something won't fire its use effect until your code stops, until you exit the current function. You can try to do an await, but that's iffy. So what I ended up finding I had to do was write a loop that actually wasn't a while. You couldn't do you can't do a while loop because that's the same function. You literally have to leave the function, and then those use effects can trigger. So you're doing these timer things that would say, run a timer, and then it would end, and then that timer would start the function again. But since you're out of the code for a moment, it gives that other thing a chance to fire. But the problem is sometimes it would fire too quickly, or it wouldn't fire in the time that you had your timer going. So you have to run. So I ended up having to write this basically a lock function that says if my states don't change, you can't start the function again. Just do another timer, and it would try to wait. And eventually that was the fix. So I had to do this lock thing that just basically locked out the procedure until the states updated. And that was kind of a weird thing, but it did the trick. And so React asynchronous stuff has its benefits, but it's also kind of kind of flaky. Is it game over? Look at that, 15-16. Wow, that's a low scoring score. All right. So anyway, I gotta try and trigger this thing. That's kind of weird. It did ultimately fire, but it. Oh, it's probably because so that use effect is firing when I hit refresh. That's weird. But that's the only time it fires. Okay, so let's go do this thing. Let's go try this other fix. So we're going to change. I still feel like this isn't calling it. I mean, it does put a listener in, but what's... Oh, okay. So the event listener is connected to the function, and the function's going to keep firing. I still feel like that's going to need a use effect, though. Because if you update this, I don't know if that's going to stay live, if this is a hot update, if you're not changing the use effect. I feel like I need a use effect for this container height. But maybe not. Maybe not. We'll go try it. I could be wrong. I wonder if I could just put this event listener. I already have a function that loads on module, and all this is doing... See, I already have one that doesn't have a dependency array. I'm thinking I'm just going to put these in. I believe it's quite possible. I don't need to, I don't need that. I don't need that either. This is like a secondary item. I don't know if I need to. I thought... let me ask. Why question it? I thought you could only have one use effect with no dependencies, but I could be wrong. Can I have more than one use effect without any dependencies? Because it might be cleaner to have a separate use effect, but if you can't have more than one, I have to put these in the other one. Oh, okay, you can. All right. It's showing me an example. It's like, I know what it looks like. I have one already. This whole thing doesn't have any dependencies. So I wanted to make sure that it was okay to have two. Because it's just cleaner to have this, because it's totally separate functionality, I'd rather just not have it share if I don't have to. So we'll go here. And I think some days I don't know, ChatGPT is kind of my favorite. A lot of people think Claude and Black Box AI are better. But Claude, you only get like a handful of questions. And it does do okay, because I like the way it gives you very verbose details and lays things out for you. It's pretty good that way. But I don't know that its answers are any better. I'm certainly not a fan of the way it likes to rewrite your code. I mean, like, even things that were like, I'm having a problem with this line of code. All right, well, then here's a fix. And everything else has changed. I'm like, I just have a problem with this line of code. Why are you changing the rest of my code? And it goes, oh, well, let's just then it'll rewrite it back the way it was with only changing what it needs. And it's like 2 lines. And I'm like, Why do you do that? I didn't ask you to rewrite my code. I don't mind refactoring. I just don't like it telling me that it thinks his variable names are better than my variable names. I am impressed by how intelligent artificial intelligence can be, though. I have calculations in here for overtime, but it never mentions the word overtime or extra quarters or anything. It just says, it just goes through and says, all right, well, if we're in quarter 4 and the game is tied, and the score values are tied, add an extra quarter. It never says overtime, but when I asked AI about something, it wasn't even that, but it says, be sure to add your overtime logic to this here, and I'm like, it's like, oh, so it's like it just knew that I was talking about overtime. I mean, yeah, sports have overtime, but still, I mean, I think it's still pretty good. What do you call it? Well, good understanding of my code and ability to disseminate that it was overtime. Anyway, I thought so. Somebody's saying, well, he's easily impressed. It's like, okay. Yeah, I suppose maybe I'm a little easily impressed. Let's see what this does. Console.log. So, Yasish, are you a developer yourself? I mean, you know ChatGPT, so you must do some. What kind of stuff do you develop? So I'm doing this because I've noticed that a lot of my changes in code won't work if I just do an auto build. It's hot reloading in Visual Studio is not great, but it was the only place I could get debugging to work. VS Code, I was doing all this in VS Code, but I could not get the debugging to work. I don't know why. Just would not fire, wouldn't load. I couldn't step through my code, and it was just driving me nuts. I couldn't hit debug, stop. What do you call it? Debug breakpoints. Just getting on my nerves. So I said, forget it. Let's see if I can do it in Visual Studio. 10 minutes later, I was debugging. I was running. It's like, yep, Visual Studio did the trick. So having two environments came in handy. All right. All right, so we've got a football kind of in the middle right now. Does it fire anything? Aha, we got some number changes. Ah, my football moved. Is it moving a lot? Is it moving? No, I'm just getting container heights. It's not actually changing, huh? Let's see. I got 3/4 of the way up. Let's see what that does. Oh, it is moving, I guess. It's not moving enough. It's like, oh yeah, it moved a lot. It's just not moving enough. Some places it's in the wrong place, and other places, so the adjustment it's making is not the right one. So it's definitely moving, but you can see it's like I'm way out here, and it's. Oh, I'm noticing. Oh, it's moving to the width. Oh, it's only moving to the height of the. That's not right, man. That's not right. Am I looking at the wrong container? Add event listener, resize. Huh. So, all right, do I have. All right, so container ref. I've got it. All right, what is the. So the container here is supposed to be this. Because if that's the container ref, that's going to be the resize. But it's the wrong thing. I think it's comparing to the wrong item. I need it to be in relation to the size of the image, which is not the div. The image I need to be comparing to, oops, what the heck, is this one. What? Why is it doing that? All right, so I need this value to go right here. There we go. Because that's the image it needs to be comparing to, and I need to be in relation to that image, depending on the size of that image. And my football's got to be wherever that is. Okay, so let's try to see what that does. It's probably not going to work right now. I'm probably going to have to stop and rebuild again. Because, well, no, see, that doesn't even work. Oh, that doesn't work. Dang it. Because it's going by the size of the container, not the size of the image. And the image is not always the size of the container, because wait, maybe it is. Because when I resize, I don't want it to be height. Yeah, see, this is saying, I think that's part of the problem. My height is 100%. It should never be 100%, but it needs to be big enough to hold the image. Because like this is more. So right now the row is taller than it needs to be for the image. I only need the size of the image. Man, it's actually tough. That's a tough one. So is there a way to... apparently there's not a way to read the size of the image. Because if the... I'm not... Going back and forth. Okay, so... well, it is moving a bit, but it is moving in relation to the size of the container, not the size of the image, which, since it is set to never crop, it is possible that it only extends part of the height of the container due to the width hitting sides. Is it possible to read the height of the image specifically of the background image specifically? overlay the image with an image tag to load the image. This allows you to directly access its dimensions via JavaScript. Source, path to your background image, alt background style, absolute with 100%, object ref, background. Use ref to measure this image's height. So we have our row, our table data, a div with our image in it. Well, that's great, but that's not going to be in the background. That's just going to be an image sitting on top of my football. That's not going to be, well, no, because that's just the name of it. Oh, wait, acts like a background. Z index. Oh, I see what it's doing. It's going to put it underneath the other. I guess it does kind of act like an image that way if it's stacking them. Maybe. Huh. That's a possibility. So, didn't really give me the... Alright, so this would be my background ref. Use an image tag instead of a background image. I'm a little concerned about it because I don't know. That's kind of a significant change, but it might work. I'm willing to try it, I guess. So, alright, let's put this image tag in pretty much as it's written. And then we'll just stick it above here. We'll take out this container ref and probably don't even need the other background ref, but I'm not going to take it out. It'll just be sitting on top of it. It'll be weird. It'll look weird for a moment because I'll have that both in there. But my background ref will be this image. Now I got to put the right path in, which I believe I have in my Tailwind config. I believe I can do this. I think that's okay. All right. Will the URL function work to provide image path? If not, it'll at least give me the corrected version. No. Oh, I guess not. And does not work with source attribute. The source attribute expects okay. Oh, so I could do it without the provide the path to the image directly as string source attribute. Oh, I guess I don't even need that then, huh? Here's the thing. I'm not sure this will work either, because this is going to be relative to the position I'm in now, which means it's actually going to be from here, which means I'll be an app, which app will go, I think that's wrong. I might be able to go, Yeah, this isn't going to work. This is probably going to need to be somehow pathed out. Even if it's random, it's going to have to be something like this. I think I have this image in both places here. I need to go like this. Now I could probably use an import, but I'm not right now. Let's just see if this works first. Alright, we can go here. Hopefully relative path works here. I think it does. Oh, it blew up. Background is not defined. What? Ref, background ref. Oh, it's container ref. Why did you change that? Why did you have to change the name? It's not really. It's probably better as a background ref because now it's not really a container anymore. But I can always fix that in a minute. Let's just get this sucker to work. Right now, it's going by container ref because that's what all my code is doing. Alright, so we've got some kind of weird thing going on here. Well, it's kind of broken. I know this because if I look out here, there's an image sitting right there in the corner. It's a broken image. I don't think that's supposed to be there. So I'm pretty sure that's the image I'm looking for. Let's just do this. And then we'll, oops. And go up here. And we will comment that out. And then, what did it put anything in for TR? No, I just put that in. Alright, so why didn't it like it? So my path is probably bad. Do I actually have this item here? That would be good. Let's see, resources, Bronco Stadium, crowd.png, resources, images. Yep, that's the right one. I can try images, but well, maybe it does need to go from the root. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, yeah, that is the right image. I know this because I commented the other one out. So let's stop this for a minute. I had to stop and recompile just to give myself a sense of confidence that I'm not just seeing uncompiled code. Because I've done that where I'm thinking I see one thing and it's not. That's never good. And yeah, I'm supposed to be drinking this. I haven't drunk it. Oh, what? Ooh. Yeah, well, it doesn't like my image, but I don't know. Is there another way to do that? It thinks I should be using like Tailwind or CSS, but again, I'm trying to measure the height of this thing. And it says you can't really do that if you're doing it through so I may have to ignore that, but let's just see what it does. Maybe. If it don't work, it ain't gonna matter, right? Alright, so the image works, or the image is there. That's good. Now the question is, are we still getting weird football movements? Huh? Oh. 62-yard field goal. Jeez. Well, football's moving better. It's not like it's out of proportion with my thing. I do need my image to stay on the top, though. It needs to be in position top. I don't like that. I'll align top here. Be on top. That might not even be the right statement. I've never used v-align in the middle of a style statement like that. I could probably rewrite this a little bit with Tailwind. Get this junk over there. But position relative display. Yeah. I don't mind the horizontal centering, but v-align. Now that might not. Is this right? Well, let's see what it does. Let's see if it works. If it's not positioned right, I'll have to go look. It might not be a v-align when you're doing it inside of the style statement. I may have to pull it outside of the style statement. Yeah, it's moving. So what if I just go like this? Oops. Vertical line. Nope. Oh well, for one, it's not going to take that because that's not in quotes. Ugh. All right. Well, I know I can do it in yeah, this is not right. It's supposed to. I thought it was v-align. I could have swore it was v-align. Oh well, that's got to be an equal sign for one. And that's got to have a quote. Let's get all the syntactical problems out of the way before I start complaining. All right, there we go. Let's try that. Let's see if that works. Nope. All right, so I'm obviously missing something. Oh, I gotta love it when I'm doing things I think I know what I'm doing, and then it turns out, not so much. Something is amiss. The basics of CSS. You think I would know this part. How come I... Alright, so... Correct approach. Alt, shift, position, top, C, left, 100, back. Wait, he didn't change anything. What? Here? How is that? Aligns it? No, I had that. Look, I have top. It does not align to top. It's floating around. Staying in the middle. You're wrong, computer. See? AI doesn't always know what it's talking about. I had that, but it didn't do anything. Absolute 0, 0, 100, 100, contain. No. It's floating. It should not be floating. All right, maybe what is the parent container? My div. With 100. No. No. I guess my image is inside the block now. Oh, that's going to be a pain. I didn't even think about that. Arg. Arg. That's going to be a pain. All right, let's take this out. I'm going to do this. I know, it's still working on trying to chop it up. I want to treat this image as though it's a separate animal. Because I need to have a relative positioning left to right, and that means I wanted to be able to do it by 100, which means I got to chop off corners and do 100%. It's going to be weird, but that's why it needs to be sitting in the middle. Because it's a trapezoid, and if I put it at the top, it'll move too far. If I put it on the bottom, it won't move enough. I got to put it in the right spot and then set the movement accordingly. Let's see what this does. Pretty sure that's going to be weird too. I don't think this one's going to require a compile. It just needs to be restarted. Oh. 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 Uh-huh. Huh? That's actually... Where's my football though? It's way down here. I can get that really tiny now. That thing will shrink into oblivion if I want it to. Weird. But football's not doing squat. Football doesn't know where it's supposed to be. I mean, it's moving left and right, but that doesn't help me any. I need to... That's totally... Whoa, I don't know what I got going there, but that is not what I was going for. Huh. That's weird, because this is like a row. It's like it's not even in the container. It's like it just went behind the table. It's like the background of everything. It's like it's ignoring the fact that it's in a table right now. And it should be in this cell. That is bizarre. Huh. It's acting like a background. It's background to everything. Like the whole background of the world. And my image still is having trouble figuring out what it's doing. My football still doesn't know what's going on. All right, well, Well, I was hoping to get this little easy thing figured out tonight, but I actually kind of like it with the backgrounds around. I just got to find a better place to put my text if I'm going to try to lock it in like this. I could... Yeah, this is too small though. If I put it here and then let it text in here, it's not gonna look good. I need to have a big text box, but I need to have it in a way that looks good. What's a good looking text box? Like I said, I kind of like this behind. I mean, I guess I could make my text have its own little area. That is maybe black. Black might not look too bad. Because that's not readable like that. I mean, it's readable, but it's not easily readable. At some point, when I finally start getting a lot of the functionality in place, I'm going to start putting I want to have things like stats come up every now and then. You know, like a box that shows up and says, you know, if you're watching the game going slow, it'll show who's got the most. I'll have like a running back comparison for each team, like they do on TV. Where it shows up, it goes at halftime, Joe and Mike. This is their comparative running back stats. This many yards. And do a quarterback comparison. Once per quarter, have a comparison of some kind between quarterbacks and running backs and receivers. That'd be kind of cool. Because these games, I want to design them to where you want to watch, even though there's not going to be a lot of player stuff. I'm going to have like little things going on that will move around on the screen. It's going to be, like I say, like if you look at one of the other football sims out there, like I don't even know who's kind of similar. Not talking Madden-ish. More stuff going on than Football Head Coach 25. More stuff going on than Action. Well, Action Pros are was it Action PC Footballs? I think is what it's called, or Action PC Pro Football or something like that. That one's a PC game. It's got squares going at it on the field, but that's pretty much it. And I could do squares, but squares are boring. Squares are boring to watch. You don't want to watch squares moving around the field. Now, how fluid my guys are going to be, I want to put stuff on there, but I'm not sure. They're not going to, like I said, it's not going to be anything Madden-esque, because that's multi-million-dollar gaming studio stuff. I'm not doing that. I don't have multi-million dollars or the gaming studio or have any idea how to do that. I'd have to hire like a multi-million-dollar gaming studio to do it for me. No, I'm trying to think. What is it? What would be similar? See, there's a couple of games out there, like I think it's GOAT, which is greatest of all time football, something like that. That one doesn't do anything. I mean, literally, you hit play and it just, this is the score that happened. Just shows you the score and all the stats. It's like, okay, no football field, nothing. Doesn't do anything. Just throws up a bunch of numbers. There is one that I had for a little while that actually had little animated football players moving. That was a really cool animation setup. I don't think I could do that. I would love to have something like that, but that game was bad. It was bad. Did not like that. I don't know. I mean, I guess it has downloads. It had 50,000 or 100,000 or whatever downloads. I'm like, really? I guess it's kind of cool graphic-y thing, but it doesn't play well at all. It's a terrible game. So I uninstalled it, so I can't remember the name of it. But it was one of the many football games that I downloaded that made me say, screw this, I'm going to make my own football game. I know I can do it, so I'm going to do it. And I'm just so determined to get this done. It's a passion project. It's going to happen. All I need is 2 years salary to get it done. That's what I need. 2 years of salary, so I don't have to get a job again. This is my job. It's my job now until someone hires me. Speaking of, I have a meeting with Meta tomorrow, but yeah, it's a 3-month process, even if I get past the meeting. Yeah. It's going to be different from everybody. Better than everybody. Maybe not better than, graphically won't be better than some, but functionally and what it does and the simulation. I'm telling you, you're going to love this game. Going to love it. I'm going to love it. I'm going to play with it. And I'm going to get people who want to play with it to play with me, because I need people to play against. So I can whoop them, show them how much better of a coach I am. How much better of a trainer I am. Because my guys, you're going to be able to do stuff with your players, help them to improve too. So, but I know it's a big basket of stuff. That's, some of it may not be on an initial go live. It may come later, but all right. Well, it's 10:15, man. I have to get to bed so I can start my day tomorrow and get back to programming. I got to get up and do my workout. And I do kind of like this. I still got to get that football in the right place. I still got to get my image to stay on top. I'm going to have to come up with a different background for my text if I am going to stick with this. But I think I like the way the football field just stays underneath like this, and the background kind of sits behind. It just looks more like it just looks cooler. I mean, yeah, I can do this nonsense, but no, this is better. It's way better. Look, it's even going behind it's so much of a background, it's even going behind my menu on top. That's crazy, man. It's totally like, it don't care where I'm at. I do like it. It's just not ideal at the moment. So, and it still makes me have to figure out where my football is. All that being said, I have to still figure out my football. My football is moving wrong. All right, so if I like that, what does that mean? That means I need to get it. Okay, so whoa, what did I do? Oh, no, never mind. Don't do that. Well, maybe it'll ignore the rest. I hate giving it too much code because it's going to ensure the image tag uses absolute position. Dude, you can read the tag. Why doesn't it look at stuff? I mean, it says absolute. Yes, it's doing absolute. It's doing top. It's doing left. It's doing all the above. Prevent resizing issues. It seems you are dynamically updating top position based on the container's height, which might inadvertently affect the layout. If update top position causes the image to shift, ensure it applies only to relevant. No, update top position is the dynamic placement is for the football image, not the background image. Well, it's not updating code snippet for football, which I'm not worried about that. No. What is this saying? Refactor. Suggested refactor for image. But that doesn't. That's not even different. Refactor for image. There's the image, background, styles, absolute, top 0, left 0, width 100, height 100, object fit. Oh, it's saying cover instead of contain. Ensures the image fits the container and aligns. No, cover's not good. No. Cannot use cover. I do not want the image to crop. This is why I need it to lock against the top of the window, and then I measure it. Then I need to place the football in the relative position based on the size of the image when resizing. Come on, ChatGPT. Answer the questions I'm asking. Stop trying to tell me to do stuff different. Yeah, object fit contain. I already got the object fit contain part. Just tell me how to lock it to the top, my friend. All right. Let's see. Back to contain. It's no longer in the background because it decided I didn't need to do that no more. It's like, you don't need it in the back anymore. God, that's what I'm talking about, man. Dang game just always wants to rewrite what I'm doing. Or not the game, these AI guys think they're smart. Sometimes they're smart, but sometimes they're just not getting it. I need this because this makes it sit behind everything, which I like. But maybe that's the thing keeping me from locking to the top. I don't know. The thing is, this thing told me to use it because I want it as a background. Yeah, this is... Yeah, I've hit my free limit. That's also telling me I need to go to bed. It says, you've hit your free limit and it's past your bedtime. So you need to go to bed. And I finished my drink, so it's time to go to bed. All right. That's it for today. Thanks for stopping by, whoever's there. And hey, keep an eye out. I'm going to be posting my Indiegogo campaign. Yes, I'm going to be asking for people to help me make some progress on this. And yes, I don't expect it to raise enough for me to finish this project. There's no way that's happening realistically, short of me miraculously finding somebody who's just like, I got to see this game done. And I happen to have 2 years of salary in my pocket. I don't think that's going to happen, but so I'll probably be running these campaigns about once a month, once every couple of months, depending on if I pick up any momentum and start getting a little bit more from it. Right up until I get a full-time job that says, yeah, well, we're going to pay you an actual salary and, so you can eat. And I'll be like, well, eating's nice. I do kind of like it. But so we'll do that. In the meantime, I'm going to be cranking away at this. I am going to make progress. This week, my goal is to continue working on the microservices and the APIs that are going to be attaching them to each other and hopefully figuring out a way to deploy. Not getting all that done this week, but I'm hoping to make progress on all those things, maybe get some 1 or 2 offs working, and maybe start looking into getting some deployment done into probably Azure. I'm really worried about Azure though. I don't know how that's going to work. I got to get my Indiegogo campaign up. I want to get the preview page up. So probably tomorrow or Tuesday. And then I want to launch it. It's going to be quick. It's going to be like turnaround times, maybe 2 weeks running, and then that's it. And then I'll probably run it again at the end of January, and the end of February, the end of March. So, yeah, they're good. I'm not going to be doing preview campaigns anymore, though. I'm just gonna keep launching them a month apart with different updated videos and different goals for the month. But all we can do is try, right? Keep pushing away, and hopefully this thing makes some cool progress and we start seeing some cool things coming out of it. I'm looking forward to seeing what I can get done and what I can start providing to folks who want to help me get it going. Till next time, you take it easy.